This is your election headquarters. You're welcome once again. And some have called it an auction. Others say it's a conference of negotiated selections. But it is indeed an election. Call it what you may. This is the time. The day the NPP is selecting the generals to lead the party, to break the eight perhaps. All we know their fate in the next 24 hours, the victors and of course the vanquished. We'll also hear the victory chants and the whispers of concession speeches of those who would end up losing. Well, in the end, we at JoyNews will be here to walk with you through this journey as the NPP elects these new leaders. You can trust us to give you comprehensive coverage because we are, of course, your election headquarters. We are live on Joy 99.7 FM, live on the Joy News channel, together with over 30 affiliates dotted across Ghana's 16 regions. That's for our radio audience. We're live on myjoyonline.com. We're also live on all social media platforms. Our men and, of course, our women are on the ground at the Accra Sports Stadium to bring you unmatched coverage. You ought to stay with us. I am MFA Pau, and we'll get into action shortly. This is your election headquarters. Welcome once again. You're welcome. This is your election headquarters. We're bringing you comprehensive coverage of the NPP's national election officers election at the Accra Sports Stadium. And today we're bringing you all that you need to know ahead of that. And let me just say also this afternoon that we've been joined in the studios by Dr. Ali Dusedu, of course, is a political scientist, and we'll be engaging all the way till about 3 p.m. or so when I hand over to my colleagues. But we'll be bringing you all that you need to know live from the Accra Sports Stadium. My colleagues Elton Brobe, Joseph Akable, Kweku Asante are live on the ground to bring us all that we need to know. It was supposed to start at 10 a.m. That's what we were told. But as it stands now, we are still waiting for delegates to arrive. I'm told delegates have started arriving, national officers arriving. Then we can get back on track with the program. Dr. Ali Dusedu, welcome.
Thank you so much, Amifa.
Always a pleasure to have you on the election
here.
Headquarters. What have you been up to?
A lot of academic work, but
of course,
but
we have to
also
declare.
serving the country as well.
Yes, for God and country. Well, many have said that the NPP should have shelved this particular election because of the economic times. Are you one of those who share in that view?
No.
Okay.
I think electing national officers or internal party democracy of every political party contributes to deepening the national level democratic governance process. And I think whilst we have a time-bound, executives are time-bound, and once the time gets to one end, I think the right thing has to be done. If we're going to allow the current crop of executives to continue, it will create a lot of constitutional crisis. So we need to create the opportunity for the people, that's the delegates of the National New Patriotic Party, to be able to elect people that they think are qualified to lead them in the next couple of years. So I think we cannot shelve a democratic process where the people have to make a determination simply because of crisis, unless it becomes essential. I remember at the height of the COVID, a lot of countries were able to postpone or reschedule their electoral process, but that was purely on health grounds. So I think it is good that this process continues so that we have people who have the legitimacy of their party members to serve the party in the way that is deserving. So I think we should be able to do this, and I think they are ready to do it. Well,
so far, I'm sure you've been monitoring campaigning. We'll focus first on the national chairmanship race. At least we lost one candidate who fell out along the line. That's Ayikwe to decided not to contest again, but the others are intact. We'll be taking a look at the delegates themselves, at least those who are contesting, and then the general secretary position, national youth organizer position, we have the treasurer, and we'll be taking a look at all that. But really, which one have you been watching closely? You have your eyes on which particular contest?
I think the national chairman position, the general secretary position, and to some extent you are looking at the youth organizer and the organizer. These are very important positions in every political party. We know that the national chairman position it's made the current chairman is not contesting. So that opens up the floodgate for several other people to actually show their commitment to lead the party and actually declaring the intention to lead. If you look at the leading contenders, you are looking at Stephen Ntim, who is a veteran. I think he's a serial contestant. He has contested several times. And usually he's always one of the lead contenders, either part of the 2-horse race or the 3-horse race. But whenever the election happens, he loses out.
This time, is it a 2-horse race, 3-horse race?
This time, it looks like a 2-horse race between him and then Stephen Asamoah Boateng.
Okay.
Even though Professor Amir Akonfe is making a little bit of strong showing, and then Mr. Abankwah is also making a little bit of strong showing. But if you monitor the polls and other speaking to delegates and the research that has gone on, you tend to see that it's largely a contest between Stephen and Ntim and then Asamoah Boateng. But a lot of polls have actually put Stephen Ntim ahead of Asamoah Asabi, thinking that Stephen Ntim has done a lot. He has been able this time to place himself.
Is he getting a lot of sympathy, you'd say?
It may be one of them, but also people believe that he's qualified to lead the party. He has been struggling all over this year. So the sympathy element is part of it. But I think he has also made a lot of effort to be able to position himself as the next chairman of the party.
Would he be able to do that? Because it's interesting for us in the media, we are always hoping that we'll be able to have access to such candidates. But he's been able to keep off the media in all this. How then does he get that leverage, you would say?
So the first thing is not shying away from the media and speaking at the time that he thinks is appropriate to speak. But I think over the years, one of the serious challenges that always affect him has to do with the factions in the NPP. You always tend to see the Kufuor-Allan faction and then the Nana Akufo-Addo faction. And this thing has played out several times over that he has contested. And you tend to see that now His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo is almost completing his second term. And to some extent, maybe his interest in who is going to lead the party at the national level might have waned, so that he is now allowing the processes to go as the delegates want. But also, this time he has been very, very careful in aligning himself strongly to any of these factions. He has been able to navigate both the Allan Naumba faction, let me put it that way. And I'm not sure whether he has been able to do that by maintaining good relations with all of them or by distancing himself from all of them. But to be honest with you, this time he has been able to navigate very well from these two particular factions. I'm not sure how he's able to do it, but what you tend to see is that now almost all the factions seems to support him, knowing that he's a man to beat. And whatever we're going to do to support him to win, then we're going to support him to win. So I think all those goodwill that he's enjoying from both camps actually makes his contest very stronger. And if that continue up to the point that he's able to win this, he's going to likely enjoy a little bit of support from both factions, and he'll be able to close their ranks. Because moving forward, what is going to be very critical after today's Congress will be maybe how the results is going to be, how the process is going to go, who are going to emerge the winners, and whether there will be factions or the party will be united after the Congress. So one of the
I would just note your last comments, whether the party will stay united or whatever happens. I would note that down. Okay. But really, for Stephen Asamoah Boateng, you've been looking at Stephen Ntim and his chances, and you talk about it being a 2-horse or 3-horse race between himself, Stephen Asamoah Boateng, and then Abankwah, possibly. Yeah. Let's talk about Stephen Asamoah Boateng, first-time entrant. How is he doing?
Yeah, I think the polls are also favoring him. He has also been able to stay clear of this. There are two ways you can do it, and I'm not sure how they are doing it. The first is to try to maintain good relations with both camps, creating the impression that you can work with all of them, regardless of who they support or whether they will support you or not. That's one way you can do it. The second way is to try to distance yourself from both camps and focus on your campaign. But I think maintaining good relations with both camps is very good, so that they all think that even if their preferred candidate doesn't win, if you are able to win, you can work with them. What is important is not just agreeing, but your ability to bring both sides on board when the need arises and be able to propel the party towards unity in 2024 elections. So I think he has also been able to play that game very well. in all these cases, people will still want to align you, whether it's Stephen Tim or Asabi or Professor Mia Konfi or Abanko. People will still want to align you, maybe based on your previous statements or positions or affiliations with either of these camps. So people definitely want to align you. But when you are able to stay clear from these controversies and focus on your campaign, and your utterances should preach unity. People shouldn't see you to be openly aligned to one particular faction. If you're able to do that, both factions, even if they don't support you from the beginning, can assume that they can work with you. And once they're able to assume that they can work with you, whatever support that they will give to you behind the scenes or openly, they'll be able to do that. So I think both Stephen and then Asabi have been able to do this very well. I'm just wondering how they've been able to do it. And they are showing strongly in most of the polls that has been done. But also, if you look at their messaging, the level of campaign that they've been able to do, the touring, and then the media, social media engagement, they have been very, very profound and try to reach out to everybody across the length and breadth of the country. What we may not be able to determine is the fact that in elections of this kind, there are a lot of things that you can predict and work towards them or against them. But there are also a lot of things that you may not be able to predict. So, for example, we now know that most of the elections we do in this country, there have been a lot of research to suggest that a lot of our delegates now vote not because of the competence or the skills or the experiences or the character of the candidate, but usually monetization, the whole concept of spending and how you are.
I was hoping we'll shelve that for later and talk more about it because it runs through the entire contest.
So for now, let's speak about what we know. So what we know and can predict is that I think these two candidates have been able to stay away a little bit clear from controversies. They have been able to maintain good relations with both camps in the party. And so far, they are performing very well. It is very important because what the election we're going to have today in the NPP is going to determine largely what is going to happen next year, especially the flag bearership elections. So, which we all look forward to moving forward. So both camps have candidates that they think if this candidate is able to win, it may pave the way for me to succeed, or I'll be able to have a friendly people and the national executive. And it started way back from even the polling station election. So you saw what happened at the polling station level. The polling station level, the stakes were very high because there were a lot of people whose election of political career depended on it. So including the electoral area coordinators, including constituency executives, including regional executives, national executives, and then flag bearers.
And regional was also
as well. So you saw that particular time, there was a lot of problems, people withholding, filing forms, a lot of things happened. But I think the NPP has been able to manage that differences, moving from the polling station to the electoral area coordinators and to the constituency level. We hardly saw those kind of looter and press conferences and the disturbances, even the burning down of party offices and all those things that happened.
For the national
national
elections.
So now, at this particular time, what is now very important is the flag bearership race. And I think it is very crucial. And the people that are going to be elected today form part of the very crucial part of determining who is going to be elected. So we know that every party, the general secretary play largely most of the administrative role. And if you have the general secretary, you have the national organizer, and to some extent, the youth organizer and the national organizer are very critical. But the general secretary, the chairman, are usually the very important pillars in every political party. But also the women organizer, because we have largely, majority of our voting population are women. And you look at the current crop of delegates that we have, the NPP have voted so far from the polling station level to this kind of level. If you do a disaggregated analysis, you tend to see that most of them are largely highly educated character of people. So you are looking at post-secondary school to largely university degree. So it presupposes that these are going to be very rational group of voters who know their whereabouts and who can determine what is good for the party and what is good for the state generally. And you also look at them, we tend to have a lot of youthful population dominating the delegate list. So you tend to see people within the age range of 31 to largely 45, forming the bulk majority of the delegates. So that also have an implication on the kind of voter outcome that may pan out. So all these things are very crucial when you are making a whole ways.
I'm sure that if you're watching us live on the Joy News channel or my joyonline.com or social media, we've been bringing you pictures of live happenings at the Accra Sports Stadium. And as it stands now, delegates are still arriving. From the program lineup that I have earlier, by 12 we should have had a lunch break by which all the first part of the program would have ended, but it doesn't look like we are sticking to that particular programming. But our men are on the ground. I'll go shortly to Kwekwasanti or Elton Brobe to give us, paint a picture of what exactly is happening at the Accra Sports Stadium to us. And of course, they've been interacting with the finance minister, questions about whether he will resign, per what people have been saying, and then the calls that have been made so far because of our current economic conditions. We'll hear his answer to that shortly. We've also been interacting with the Council of Elders, the chairman of the Council of Elders, the Hackman Uswajiman. He's also there. We've been interacting with him on this particular contest and what he makes of what he's seen so far. That and more we're bringing to you. Of course, this is your election headquarters. We are live on Joy 99.7 FM, myjoyonline.com. You're seeing footages of some of the delegates who are already seated, waiting for the leadership of the party so that this event can start. But of course, no matter the time it ends, we're here with you till it ends, till the last ballot is counted and the winners are announced. The chairman, the general secretary, organizer, youth organizer, treasurer, vice chairpersons, women's organizer. How it turns out, we're right here with you to bring you the very latest on that. But let's focus on the general secretary position. But before we do that, we know that Ayikwe Otu, dropped out of the race. But do you think that looking at the others, knowing that the thing comes down to just about 3 or so candidates, should we have had more people or more of them, dropping out of the race, you would say? It's interesting. We have Samikrab in there. We have Akwesio Seji. We have Kwabena Bankwa, which you say like it comes down to him as well. Daviama Giftia Santuaye. Really, should we have had more of them dropping out, or you think the numbers as it stands now, it's okay?
So people go into this kind of race for different reasons. So the first group of people go in there to win. So their intention is actually to win and lead the party. Some of them are just testing the waters. Maybe their intention is to contest for the chairmanship in the next elections or some few years back, but they have to introduce themselves to the delegates. So they are just testing the waters to see how they will fare, but also to make their name known so that when they actually have declared a real intention to win, people already know about them. Others also join the race because some people have planted them there to either undermine or divide the vote of their lead competitor. So when you want to do that, you look at your lead competitor. What demographic characteristics does he have? What are the advantages? So maybe if your lead contender is largely an Akan or from Ashanti region, his largest support is coming from Ashanti region. What you do is that you get a very credible candidate from Ashanti region who share that same characteristics and sponsor him. So what he's going to do is that he's going to end up dividing the votes of your lead contender. Then you still maintain your stronghold. Or maybe if the comparative advantage of your lead contender is religion or ethnicity, you get somebody from that particular religion or ethnicity and sponsor him so that he'll be able to do damage to your lead contender. But you still maintain that element of your stronghold. So it could be that maybe they are fronting for other people. It could also be that sincerely his intention was to win. But looking at the dynamics, when you go into race like this, you just don't contest, but you also do polls, you also do research, you also listen to the people and pick signals so that you don't spend so much money and end up losing. So what normally happens is that people may... Okay,
so we've just seen John Bwedu arriving at the ground, and it's a good time not to cut you, Dr. Ali Desedo. I'll come back to you in the studio. I'm with you throughout, so we'll be talking more. But it looks like Elton Brobe is on standby to paint a picture. I'm dying to hear what exactly is happening at the Accra Sports Stadium. I know you are too. Elton, should we go to Elton now? Elton Brobe? Okay. Well, we'll get to Elton shortly, but of course you can see the visuals. We'll be bringing that to you. John Boyd has just arrived. I'm sure other contestants have also arrived, and we'll give you all that you need to know about it. So let's get into the General Secretary race, since we've seen John Boyd with the incumbent just arriving at the ground. How does it look like for him?
Yeah, he's doing so well, even though there's the indication that a lot of people are not happy with his kind of administrative skills of the party over the last couple of years that he has presided. But most of the polls do favor him, but some of them also favor JFK. And I think JFK is actually getting stronger day in, day out. Very youthful relative to John Boydu, proving to be very smart, somebody who can think on his feet and very able to, with very strategic plans and visions.
Hold on the thoughts on JFK. I'm very interested. We'll get to hear it. But let's go to Elton now. All is clear for us to go to the Accra Sports Stadium, and Elton Brobe is leading the team there. He joins us live. Elton, can you hear me? What's happening at the Accra Sports Stadium now? Elton, let me try again. Elton Brobe, I'm sure there's a lot of noise where you are, but we can manage this conversation. Can you hear me? Bring us up to speed on happenings at the Accra Sports Stadium. Well, my colleague Elton Brobe would...
And we are all waiting for the program to start, and then we'll have the first part of the program coming in. But we've been waiting for the delegates since 7 a.m., 8 a.m., and we're still waiting. It is very unclear when the delegates of the governing New Patriotic Party, the Kingmakers, will make their way here to the Accra Sports Stadium. They are the group that is virtually holding or stalling the commencement of this National Delegates Conference. So everybody is in waiting. Some have come in a while ago. Seven Asamoah Boateng, who is contesting to be elected National Chairman of the NPP, walked in. Kenneth Oriata, the Finance Minister, walked in. I mean, he was asked whether he's going to resign as a result of the country going to the IMF. He says he will not resign, because asking him to resign is like asking a parent to abandon his kids. And I'm sure that in the minutes and hours to come, we'll bring that footage to our viewers and our listeners on Joy 99.7 FM. But this is Joy News. This is our comprehensive coverage of the 2022 National New Patriotic Party National Delegates Conference. And the conference has one key objective, and that is to elect national officers for the next 4 years. That is the reason why we have gathered here at the Accra Sports Stadium to see to that constitutional requirement of the NPP. What is, however, unclear is when this conference will take off, when the delegates will make their way to the Accra Sports Stadium and take their seat for the program to start. Some ministers of state are here. We are hearing all manner of things. The reason why the program is here to start, even though it was advertised to start at exactly 9 a.m., it hasn't started yet. And no official communication has come through as to the reason for the delay. What we can only hope is that very soon, what we are hoping for is that very soon, the delegates will make their way here to the Accra Sports Stadium, take their designated seats, and then the event itself can start. But they are not here yet. We've been hearing from the announcers that they are on their way coming, and it's been almost 5 hours now, and the delegates are not here at the Accra Sports Stadium. And they are the very reason why this event is taking place, because they have a responsibility to decide the future direction of the NPP. And that's the more reason why they've come in their numbers from the 16 regions, 6,120 from across the 16 regions, making up the delegates of the New Patriotic Party. So, Emefa, that is the reason why this event hasn't taken off. In fact, I've been speaking to organizers of the NPP. They are telling me that the original arrangement was to start at 9 a.m., but there are certain requirements that must be done, some considerations, some discussions ongoing, and that is the more reason why the event has yet to take off. Now, today's event is in two parts. We have the official opening, and then the Electoral Commission will take over in the next half to see to the election of the national officers. In all, as you may be aware, we are looking at over 6,000 delegates coming here to, select national officers for the governing New Patriotic Party. But it is very much unclear when this thing will take off. Stephen Asamoah Boateng has just joined me here. He's been campaigning across the country to be elected as the national chairman of the party. Well dressed, immaculately dressed, and ready for the task ahead. Asabi, you're welcome to JoyNews.
I thank you very much for the opportunity. It's a beautiful day. We thank God for traveling mercies. And we are here to do the needful. Elect our national executives who will start the party and bind the party together and be able to engage the government. And then we can go forward as a team and engage the NDC in 2024. I'm happy. I'm very happy.
So how do you assess yourself after speaking to all the delegates in the 16 regions of the country? How is it looking like for you?
I have communicated a 7-point program that would help the party to move and then conquer the NDC in 2024. One is unity. Two is the strengthening of the party structures. I propose to pay every party constituency executive member a minimum of about 1,000 Ghana a month.
1,000 Ghana a month.
We get the money from those who are in the government who are paid. We deduct money from their source of income directly to the party. When I was an MP, they deduct. But when I became a CEO, nobody deducted. So CEOs can be paid. Ambassadors never paid. Ambassadors can pay. PROs, special assistants, we don't deduct. They should deduct. And that can fund it. The third one is party financing. We need to find a way that party people will be able to know that we have sorted our finances. Number 4 is about women empowerment and youth development. We need to encourage our women to be entrepreneurial, our youth to find the scholarships, to get the mentorship and get the employment opportunities. And then I talked about welfare fund so that we can use as an investment portfolio. Then I talked about the flag bearer so that we don't have to struggle it out and fight among ourselves. And then the flag bearer, I talked about how they can do the appointment system so that 60-40, they will have 60% of appointment, and then the party retain 40%. So 60-40 is working. And then the 7th one is the NDC. Asabi stand tall. I'm a local government minister, so I can handle the MMDCs. I've been an information minister. I can articulate the party's position. I have been a CEO of the CEOs. I know corporate Ghana. So I have the wealth of experience, and I've said that to them. They have assured me that they will vote for me because they want a bold and courageous person that can meet the president, look at him in the face, and tell us as it is. And indeed, the message has gone down. Now with the NDC, they know me. I can handle the NDC. And now I'm confident I win. But yet today, I hear people are going behind me with money. They want to buy your vote. They're using money now, and when they finish, they cannot come to you.
But Asabi, is that not what everybody is doing? Is that not what everybody is doing, trying to influence the delegates with money? Are you saying that you've not paid a dime to anybody?
I have gone round 3 times. I've given them TNT 3 times. Those who are coming with money now, they went once, and they gave only 200. At least I gave TNT 3 times, 150, 150, and then 100. So I've given some. So I'm giving some. And then they came last night. I've given them something. But others are going back. They want to buy a boat. I don't know where the money is coming from. Please stay focused. Remember 2024. You need a chairman that is focused, That's the energy. I'm here talking. Where are the rest? They are bribing people. Doesn't matter.
But if your opponents are paying, doesn't that suggest that they may vote against you? You may have all the nice ideas to lead a party. If your opponents are paying,
my supporters are staying firm. They are very solid. They say, Asabi, we send them, but we are taking their money, but we are voting for you.
So as far as you are concerned, it's a done deal.
God is the almighty decision maker. God should touch their hearts and touch their minds so that they will come to the stadium and they will vote wisely. Free and fair, I'm going to protect the votes of me and nothing will happen. Asabi, inshallah, will emerge victorious.
You are a contender. We were told that this program was going to start at 9. It's almost 1 p.m.
What?
We were told that this program was going to start at 9. It's almost 1 p.m. What is happening?
I don't know what's going on by the organizers. It's now what?
It's almost 1.
It's almost 1 o'clock. I pray we start early. Otherwise, it will be a long night.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they have some logistical problem.
We have heard that the delegates are refusing to come because some have been camped and all those allegations flying around.
People want to manipulate them with money. I am a straight, honest, straightforward person. Whatever I should have given to them for TNT, I'm giving. I'm done. I don't have any extra money anywhere. I am not going to take money that is tainted.
But that should be a worry to you.
Well, that is the problem that we need to tackle. Indeed, this whole contest must be restructured. If the party don't restructure the way we conduct these internal elections, we can never tell where a drug dealer, a money launderer will take over our parties.
So who is paying?
I won't name them, but they know themselves.
You don't know who is paying?
I know, but they know themselves too.
But, and you are not the one?
Sorry?
And you are not the one paying?
Nope. I'm giving them my TNT already. I'm done. I'm giving them my message. And I told them, don't look at the money. Look at a courageous chairman. You see, we are almost at a stage where we want to make history. Making history is not money payment now. It's 2.5 years away. Stay focused, look at the objective. I'm not paying anything beyond what I've done. God willing, they've listened to me and they will do the needful.
So how much is being paid?
I don't know what they're paying. That's not my business. What I'm interested in is I've given them my TNT.
It's like the party's leadership is being sold to the highest bidder.
Well, that's sad. I'm not going to be part of the highest bidder business. I won't do it. I am looking at them in the face and I am humbly appealing to party people. You want a very strong party, you have to stay focused. Don't let money influence you. Otherwise, drug dealers, money launderers, people with a very dubious intention will hijack the party.
But if monetary consideration is chosen over competence, loyalty, and dedication, to what impact would that have for the party in the 2024 elections?
If they decide on money now, I've done my part. I'll be content if that's what they want. I'll be content. I had to do my part. I've done my part. It's not about money, it's about who can lead them into battle. Who can let the president and his team know that they should look after the party well. Who can be bold. I've said my story.
Thank you very much,
I'm interested in the battle ahead.
I wish you the very best.
Thank you.
I wish you the very best.
Thank you.
And I'm hoping that by the time all is settled, I'll be speaking to you as well, the chairman-elect.
Thank you.
I wish you the very best.
God bless all of us. NPP, stay focused and vote Asabi. I'm number 7. 60-40. Let's make sure we win this evening or tomorrow morning, whenever we count, and then we go and solve our house problems and then face the NDC boldly. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Samuel Boateng is contesting to become the national chairman of the NPP, and he's very much concerned about what he describes as some monetary consideration happening at this 11th hour ahead of the voting by the delegates. It is an allegation that he's made. He was unable to tell us who exactly is paying and how much is being paid. He says that he has not paid anybody. He has sold to them his message, and he is very confident that they will use his message as the motivator to elect him as the next chairman of the governing NPP for the next 4 years. Remember that he's coming up against 4 other people, including Stephen Tim, who will be eyeing this chairmanship slot for the 5th time, if I'm correct. All the times that he's been there, he's always lost it. But today, he is here. And for those who have been doing profiling of him, and data suggests that he's actually one of the key individuals likely to be elected as the next chair of the party. Asabi is also in the picture, and a while ago you heard him speak about the challenges that he's identified, including some inducements that, according to him, is taking place. And that explains the reason why we've been waiting for the delegates since 8 a.m. and it's almost 1 p.m. and the delegates are simply not here. Some are yet to take their seats. We are told that some are still in their hotel and hostels, yet to be transported to the Accra Sports Stadium, which is the venue for the National Delegates Conference of the governing New Patriotic Party. I would like to quickly run you through the issues as we have it and how this whole exercise is going to pan out. Who qualifies to vote? How many people are voting? In fact, for the position of National Youth Organizer, Nasara Coordinator, Women's Organizer, that's a different electoral college altogether. I'll tell you who qualifies to vote in these 3 categories. But the position of General Secretary, National Chair, First, Second, Vice Chair, National Organizer, that is also another college that we'll be going through. So, per the party's own guidelines and regulations govern this National Delegates Conference happening here at Accra Sports Stadium, in line with Article 1023 of the NPP's Constitution. These are the individuals who are in the right position to participate in this conference, and they have voting rights. All members of the National Council have voting rights, and they'll be participating fully in the voting when we get to the second part of the conference. All members of the National Executive Committee of the NPP, that's the neck of the party. All members of regional executive committees, we have the regional chair, regional secretary, regional treasurer, and the others in the region. All members of the constituency executive committee also in good standing to partake in this exercise. 15 members of the National Council of Elders, 12 delegates from every external branch. You heard a while ago, they were mentioning names of people who have come from the United States of America, United Kingdom, and other countries who are participating. 15 of them will have the opportunity to partake in this election. Founding members across the country who are signatories to the registration documents of the party at the Electoral Commission. All party members of parliament, we have 137 NPP members in parliament. One is out of the country, Sarah Joasafo, Member of Parliament for Dom Kwabenya. So that means that we will have 136 MPs from the NPP who will be voting today as members of the delegation. Also, all party members who are ministers, deputy ministers, metropolitan, municipal, and district chief executives. The presence of at least 1/3 of delegates to the National Annual Conference shall be necessary to constitute a quorum of the conference. I'm unsure whether the 1/3 is available because we need to have recognized individuals with voting rights before they can form the quorum for the event to start. So this is the composition of the people who have been designated to partake fully to elect national officers of the party for the next 4 years. I will quickly run you through delegates for special organs of the party, and we have the National Youth Wing. Now, the National Youth Wing, National Youth Organizer, and deputies, all former National Youth Organizers and deputies will vote in the category of National Youth Organizer. All regional youth organizers and deputies, all constituency youth organizers and deputies, all external branch youth organizers and deputies, TESCOM, the president or his representative in the absence of the president from each of the recognized tertiary institutions in the country, all MPP, MPs who are below age 40 and the likes. These are all people who have the opportunity to vote. We also have the Women's Wing, National Women's Organizer, all former national women organizers and deputies, regional youth organizers, and these are the people who are likely to see them partake fully in this election that is taking place here at the Accra Sports Stadium. We are still waiting for the official commencement of this program. It was advertised to start at 9. It is 12:44, 15 minutes to 1, 5 hours late, and it's still unclear when officially we'll have the program underway. Even though I must say that we have ministers of state and other high-profile dignitaries of the government and invited guests who've already taken their seats, and they are ready for the delegates to get seated, and then I'm sure this event will take place. So I'll hand it over to you, Mbefa, as we wait for the official commencement of the event. Looking at the way things are, we are in for a long ride, which is likely to take us into the morning of Sunday before we will know the next national officers for the governing New Patriotic Party.
Thank you very much. That's my colleague Elton Brobe and the team from the Accra Sports Stadium. And it appears there's something really going on with our delegates today because they are the reason why we are where we are right now. They are still yet to arrive. We have some dignitaries already arriving, but the over 6,000 delegates, some have arrived, but a large chunk of them are still yet to arrive for the program to start. Per the plan that we have, like I said earlier, we would have finished with the speeches and others, the first part of the program, such that we'll be going into the voting after the lunch break. But as it stands now, that is yet to happen. Dr. Ali Disedo, you know the dynamics of all this, really. Are the delegates protesting something silently that we haven't been told?
Okay. First of all, I think that this is largely unacceptable. If you look at the way the program was advertised, and people's expectations and what is happening now, this is a very good time for people to make demands. It's just like in national elections. Mm-hmm. You always see communities say no water, no vote, no, because they know that that's the time politicians will respond to their needs. So the first reason may be that, like you mentioned, they may be protesting something. And this is the best time to do that kind of protest. So the people who want to be elected will definitely want to find out what it is and be able to address it. So if that is basically what they are doing, yes, it's good for them, but they are holding hostage a whole conference and putting the party to shame because of what is going on, just because of their interest. Two, it could also be that election decisions can change within a snap of a finger. Somebody may have made up his mind that he's going to vote this way, and he can even change his mind while he has queued to vote. So maybe the delegates also know, the contestants knows their delegates and all those things. They may also be that this is the time that people will hunt for them. Other competitor candidates will hunt for them and be able to entice them or speak to them in a manner that convinces them. So the other reason could be that maybe each competitor is camping their delegates in a manner that they can only have access to them and wouldn't allow other people to also have access to them. And if that is also the case, then the competitors, the candidates are not also being very fair to the party, and then the image of the party, because this is a very important party issue, but also a national issue. And especially a party in government should be able to make sure that the right thing is done and set very good example for other people. It could be other reasons. I know, though this may not be that important, in most cases it could also be superstitious based. Maybe if you let your people go in first, then you are going to lose. We used to see that in soccer matches. All the players will come and all the teams will, but no team want to go to the pitch first because it is assumed that when you go first, then you're going to lose. It could be anything. In the absence of credible explanation for why this is happening, then it's open up to a lot of speculations. But the sad thing is that if we allow this to continue, it means voting will start very late into midnight. And
a lot happens during that time.
I dread that particular time because a lot can happen. That may have a little bit of impact on the credibility and acceptability of the results. I think if they had gone according to the way they had advertised the program, by midday, all the pleasantries and the speeches and all those things will have ended, and then they hand over to the EC to start the voting process. But it's almost 1. p.m. And if we haven't started voting, the delegates have, not all of them have even arrived. When are they going to arrive? And when are we going to start voting? Unless, of course, this is orchestrated or is part of the planning to achieve a specific result. Other than that, I think there should be an explanation and an apology, and then make sure that the right thing is done. Other than that, it's going to have a lot of implication on how people judge the party and then the way they do things.
Okay. Well, we've been hearing Asamoah Boateng talk about giving TNT to the delegates. Really, is he supposed to be giving TNT? We know that these things happen. Most of the time, they tell you is not to bribe or change the mind of the delegates, but we tend to hear it a lot. We're just giving them food. We're just giving them TNT. Really, and TNT is very, you can't tell. 100 cities or 1,000 cities can be TNT up to and onwards. Really, who defines that? Is that not supposed to be the party's responsibility? Should that be a contestant's responsibility to provide TNT for delegates?
I think the party has the responsibility to mobilize and organize delegates, transfer them from wherever they are to the conference venue, feed them, and even provide them accommodation. And when they are done, they resource them to go back. So it doesn't matter whether it's TNT or it's food or it's water. You see, the one given, we all know the constitutional mandated institution that's supposed to do that. If any other person is doing that, it means you also have a vested interest. And it doesn't matter how you call it, whether it's TNT or it's support or it's accommodation. I think at this particular point in time, we should try as much as possible to divorce money from our politics. It has a lot of implications, MFR. If care is not taken, and people know that delegates always will vote for the highest bidder, and candidates know that if I'm able to outspend my other candidates, I win, regardless of the competence, the credibility, the long service, the patriotism, and all those things, then we are auctioning our democracy completely. Yeah. And it has a lot of implications in terms of decision making, in terms of independent thinking, in terms of governance capture. Over the years, we have seen in other countries that very few elites who have money and have been able to sponsor candidates capture government. Once government comes to power, government now do the bidding of those who have sponsored them, and not the bidding of the people that have elected them. We have also seen that even where it is just political elites who are patriotic doing this is better. But once we open up the gate so wide, we are going to invite drug dealers, we're going to invite criminals who have money to be able to put candidates there and get them elected, and then they have a field day. So we have to be very careful, because that's why I said, when you asked me at the beginning, should we postpone this? I said, no, we need to do it, because in the whole concept of responsible governance, the right thing must always be done. And those who are elected into leadership must be seen to have elected in a very proper and legitimate manner, so that people can answer to them, people can also contribute their quota to them succeeding and be patriotic and executing all their national civic duties and responsibilities. But once people begin to see that when we vote for the people, the wishes of the people don't usually work, but rather the wishes of the very few people who have resources to buy delegates, but also to influence candidates' decision, then I don't think our democracy will work for us. And there's been a lot of research from the Westminster Foundation and CDD and other civic bodies that point to the serious consequence of going this way. And sadly enough, the Fourth Republic is now bedeviled with monetization. It's happening everywhere. And I think a lot has to be done.
Okay. Well, we're talking about the General Secretary race, the contenders there. You were on JFK. We've been talking about John Boadu as well, and what the chances are like. We know we have Idrisu Musa also there. We have Ramsey Ahmed Ajiman Prempe. We have Frederick Opariansa, and then Justin Kodia we've been talking about. We know that Charles Pisu also fell out at the last minute with a statement from him after campaigning and all this. Wow, really, you've been talking about reasons why people enter such race. But it looks like it's a two-horse race at this point for you. Is that what it is? Is John Boadu and Justin Kodia?
Yes.
Well, what does it look like then for this particular position? Because it's more like very sharply divided. Or the polls are in favor of John Boadu from what we've been seeing so far. But first-time contender, Justin Kodua, you've been monitoring his campaign and that of John Boadu as well. What really is it going to turn out like in the end, you would say? So
John Boadu has incumbency advantage because he is in that position already and has been able to build a lot of networks and have linked up with a lot of people that can help. But I think if you compare John Boadu and JFK, JFK is relatively younger. I like him, very smart. If I've monitored the way he speaks and his exploits in other sectors that he has worked before coming to this position. He's a very fine gentleman. And you are looking at the whole concept of what? Building unity and breaking the eight. The NPP's vision now is anchored on breaking the eight. So the caliber of executives that they vote now should be executives that are able to build unity, that are able to achieve consensus, that are able to get support from both factions within the party. Over the years, there have been a lot of pronouncements, there have been a lot of statements, there have been a lot of actions, especially regarding the flag bearership race that is going to happen next year, which suggested that the current secretary has tilted towards one particular faction and not the other faction, or has sanctioned utterances by people in a particular faction and not the other faction. So that hasn't attracted so much attention to him, but also the fact that it doesn't look like he's somebody who is willing to build consensus moving forward between those two camps. Okay. I haven't seen JFK make utterances regarding those kind of issues. He has stayed very clear in his campaign, and he has focused on the issue of breaking the eight. So he's somebody to watch out for. Even though John Boadu has the incumbency advantage and he has been able to campaign well, he has a lot of resources compared to JFK, I suppose. But the idea is that JFK has that element of ideas and a very good vision and very articulative.
Will the delegates be able to look beyond the incumbency advantage and all that comes with John Boadu and pull a surprise there? Do you see that happening?
It's possible. I wouldn't rule out the fact that, like the late Sir John said, you should fear delegates. They can do anything. But if you look at most of the polls that has been thrown about, you tend to see John Boadu leading with JFK coming very closely.
I'll hold you on there shortly, and because I've been telling you earlier about the finance minister, speaking to my colleague Kwaku Asante, Dr. Ali Disedo, I'll come back to you on it, but briefly, I'll take you live there, and then we can hear from the finance minister.
That's not a very good question. You know, it's almost like telling a father to resign from his children because he's changed his mind. You know, there are times that decisions have to be made for the survival of a country, and therefore if circumstances such as
party congress within this state of the economy. Finance Minister, do you agree with those who say that you should not be holding conference within the current climate of the economy? Do you agree?
Well, I think there are issues of the governance of a country, then these are always important. And I think if you see the way in which we have moderated the advertisement billboards, it shows a party that is sensitive to the current moments of the situation. But I don't think you can ever let the issue of governance go. Democracy is important. It does cost some amount of money to do that, but clearly you can see an environment that is excited about the future by being able to run a congress or conference of this nature in a way that mimics the situation in the world.
You also say resign. Will you resign because of going to the IMF when you said you were not going to the IMF?
That's not a very good question. You know, it's almost like telling a father to resign from his children because he's changed his mind. You know, there are times that decisions have to be made for the survival of a country, and therefore if circumstances such as COVID or Ukraine war occur, which are not typical, it does change the environment, and sensible people will change their minds.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So that's Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta there at the Accra Sports Stadium when he arrived, interacting with my colleague Kwaku Asante. Issues about resignation there. It doesn't look like that's going to happen. Well, you've been hearing him. There have been several calls for that to happen. Well, he's breaking his silence on it.
I don't think going to IMF is a bad thing. If you build an economy, I think we all rely on each other for support. And institutions like this, the IMF, the Bretton Woods institutions largely were created because of these purposes. But it has to do with the posture that the government, especially the finance minister, took prior to the announcement of the decision to go to the IMF. And I think this is like the 17th time we are going there as a country. But you see, the whole idea was that we are doing so well, we don't need IMF. People in government has bastardized IMF. You are going to, small children will come and dictate to you. They've said a whole lot of things about this. That's why it has now become a very big issue that when they announced that we're going to go to IMF, people became highly critical of them, and for the fact that they haven't been very honest and very consistent with our current situations. We've been there several times, but the idea was that if we get to a level that we need IMF program to be able to get back on track, it's something that governments have already done. But from the word go, if you take that position that you never go, the previous government went because they were incompetent, then if you are going there, then who are you then? Are you also incompetent? So I think a lot of things were said in time past that's now making it very difficult for people, Ghanaians to believe that after all these things that have been said and done, we are finally going to the IMF. So I think it's kind of put government in a very tight corner.
But for some,
in other jurisdictions, he will have resigned. No, even Ghanaians wouldn't have asked that of him. He would have just stepped down. We've seen it across the bigger democracies where people have said, ministers have said specific things, and later on did otherwise and just offered to resign. But I think maybe the level of maturity of our democracy in this part of the world is still something that is preventing people from doing that. But in other places, the citizen will not even ask that of him. He will just do it.
But to be fair to him, he insisted that we didn't need to go to the IMF. Homegrown solutions would have been the way to go. But the president had a decision to make, and he made that decision. Why then should it be the finance minister taking the fall for it when he had insisted that IMF was not the way to go?
So there were two things. One, people may resign because they assume that it's their fault, right? Others may resign because they think that what they think, that's their perspective or opinion about managing the economy, is very different from the appointing authority.
Yeah.
So if you think that you can run the economy without going to IMF based on your ideas and credentials and strategy, and the one who appoints you now think that you need to do something contrary to your own conviction and principles, people may resign on the grounds of principle. For I think, yes, this is what I wanted to move the economy with. But you have a different idea. And because you are appointing me, I think I cannot work based on these particular circumstances. So people can also resign on the basis of principle, not on the basis of admitting failure, but on the basis of principle that if I think we shouldn't go to IMF and I believe I can run this economy using homegrown policies, now the person who appoints me thinks I need to do what is against my principle, I'll step down because I can't work in that circumstances. But whichever way it is the decision of the finance minister, but also government, the president who appoints him to let him continue. So let's see how we're going to fare.
Okay, but speaking of money and, of course, times that we're in, I'm still really interested in this issue that Asamoah Boateng raised earlier. He was on the probe also, and I heard him also raise that particular issue, mentioning that all he gives, he does not bribe delegates, but all he gives is just TNT. At some point mentions about 150 CDs that he gives to these delegates for TNT wherever he goes, and depending on your position in the party, up onto maybe regional chairman, it depends on what he gives you. But looking at the number of delegates we have, over 6,000 delegates. I'm even making it 6,000. My math is not really good. But if it's 6,000 delegates, for instance, and by 150, that's what? About 900,000 CDs. And we know that the party was very clear about also giving TNT, because we had Peter McMenu, the chairman of the chairman of the planning committee, mention that that was not going to happen. But we'll get to it. But let's get into Chairman Sabunsu. He's been speaking to us on this as well. Let's hear him.
People that they elect in the various places. But having said so, I think that we also need to assess the people critically to see who can help the party to reposition itself and to win the 2024 elections, which we all do know is going to be a Herculean endeavor. We need to overcome the hurdle. If we should, we need to get the correct people to be at the helm of affairs. Thank you very much.
For the party as well, for the party's agenda?
Well, in my considered opinion, there are two things that we may have to do going forward. First of all, we should understand. I just quoted Article 55, Clause 9 of the Constitution to us, which obligates the party to choose, and the operative word in the Constitution is choose. Not elect. Of course, election is also one of the means of choosing. Acclamation is one of the ways of choosing. Whatever way that the party fashions out to choose people to serve various offices, we may have to look at it. So I think that if we have to look at what operates in the other jurisdictions, you go to UK, you go to America, you go to Australia, you go to Canada, they're established democracies. What we are doing here doesn't exist there. But by our own constitution, that is what we are fashioned. So we must obey the constitution. So I'm saying that there are one of two ways that we may have to look at. If we want to maintain what is here now, then as far as I'm concerned, I agree with you that then we have to go further downstream and allow every card-bearing member of the constituencies to have a say in who becomes the officers of the party. Other than that, in the UK, it's the Prime Minister who chooses the chairman of the party. The party has its own central administration. You go to the US, that's what it is. If you go to Canada, that's what it is. But by whatever arrangement, we have this on us. And we must respect what the Constitution says, at least for now, until we do away with the Constitution.
But there are those who say that your party should not be holding a Congress in these times of the economy. You should be holding on. What do you make of those thoughts?
It's an obligation on the part of the Constitution of the party. The annual Delegates Conference is annual, and the time is due.
Hello, Madam. Hello. Please, what do you make of everything so far?
I don't like.
What do you make of the Congress?
I haven't been in yet, but I'm looking forward to a very successful event. I'm looking forward to us coming out of this event with a stronger, more united party. And I'm excited that we can refresh and rejuvenate the party in this way.
Apart from what you just said, it's me, it's me. How do you assess the previous administration? Because there's a new administration going to take over from this one. How would you assess them?
It's been a difficult time for everybody, let me put it that way. So putting it in the context of the global difficulties, I think they've done pretty well. I think the party is still strong. I believe that this is going to be a good time to take a look at where maybe we haven't done as well as expected and start doing things better.
You have support for any of them?
And what are your own expectations of Congress?
Oh, that will have an interesting, peaceful Congress. I'm hoping that, we shall elect faces and voices for the party that will lead us in the next 4 years, that we shall all be proud of.
You look at the candidates, do you think they are the ones that can grant you continuity?
Well, in every election, those who make it onto the ballot are what you have. It's when you get to the ballot, this is not the time to be saying, I wish this person had been on it. No, we have who we have. I'm happy with them.
I expect us to have a peaceful conference because, the Congress is well organized and everybody coming here is disciplined. We want our party to break the 8, so everything will be successful. I'm confident.
Do you think you are united enough?
We are united enough for this conference, and for the coming election. Now I'm very confident. Everything will be peaceful.
You look at the caliber of people running. Are they the people that are capable to lead your party to break the eight?
They've got the capacity, but only one person wins at any given time. All of them are my friends. I have confidence in them, but only one person. I've stood for election myself. Only one person will win. But they are very capable people, all of them.
Has the party performed well? And are people even saying that the party should not even be holding a congress around this time when there's a general economic situation? People say you should hold on.
There's a general economic situation, but you have to elect people to manage the party so that we can organize for the coming election. No, there are two different things. The party is going to win, and I'm very confident this is going to be a very peaceful conference.
Are there specific people that you think the candidates should take?
I'm a delegate, and I'm not going to talk about.
We have Hackman Owusu, NPP National Council of Elders, just about to vehicle to the council grounds. We are trying to catch up with him to try and take some thoughts from him. Hackman Owusu is a former member of parliament. He's also one of the very leading members of the New Patriotic Party currently. We will get to him shortly and try and get some perspective from him. Mr. Owusu Hackman. So Owusu Hackman is about just getting done. So, Mr. Owusu welcome.
Thank you.
So, what are your own expectations of the
conference?
Yes.
I expect first and foremost to renew the bonds of solidarity amongst us as party members, to rally around the leadership, to move this nation forward, but above all also to have our Congress to elect our leadership for the next 4 years. I expect us to have a very clean and fair elections so that when we are finished, we will all come together again. Right now, there's a bit of division here and there, but that is natural. But at the end of the day, our ability to come together is what's important.
What do you make about the caliber of candidates? Are they the ones to lead you to break the eight? Do they have the capacity?
Well, they all have their strong points and weaknesses, but I believe that over the period of time, some of them have gone under our tutelage over the last 30 years, and I believe that they have learned something. So we cannot get a perfect candidate. You can never get a perfect, like a perfect husband or a perfect wife. We would move together, make sure that this nation gets its, how they say, its gold cloth and put it on.
Has your party performed well to break the eight? They are those who say it's not you.
That is our vision, that is our aim, and it takes a lot of effort. And this is where we are going to mobilize the people, let them understand that you just don't say break the eight and the eight gets broken. We have to work towards it. We have to work together. We have to rally around the leadership, and we will be able to do it.
Some say these group of leaders cannot be ones to go forward in breaking the eight.
Say that again.
Some argue that your current group of leaders cannot be the ones to lead your breaking the eight.
Well, opinions differ, don't they? And I'm saying some of them have done their apprenticeship. Quite a few of them, we started with them in 1992. They understand what the party stands for. They understand what we must do. But what is remaining is for the members of the party.
That's a Hackman Owusu there. He's the chairman of the Council of Elders of the NPP, interacting with my colleague Kwekwa Sante. And before him, we also heard Adokufo. Mr. Adokufo, it's been a while since we heard from him. He's also been speaking about the elections and his expectations. Earlier also, we had Elizabeth Ohene, they call her Grandma. We also had Oboshi Sai Kofi. And then before her, it was Osei Chairman Sabonsu, the majority leader, speaking on a wide range of issues. Well, one thing that we've been hearing the chairman of the Council of Elders talk about is that eight can't just be broken with words. You can't just say break the eight and it gets broken. Well, but I'm sure there's a particular thought that we'll be talking about and then giving you a breakdown of the delegates as we have them. It looks like now they've started to arrive. 6,146 of them. Will give you that regional breakdown, who makes it up. But Elton Brobe is on standby now. Let's go to him for the Accra Sports Stadium.
It's across the country. Now, a while ago, the MC, Anthony Abayi-Fakabo, announced and directed all the aspirants to an emergency meeting with the election planning committee headed by Mr. Peter McMurray, the former chair of the party, we are unclear as to the reason for this emergency meeting, but all of them have moved to the venue of the meeting for it to finally get underway. And I'm sure that when the meeting is finally over, we will get to understand the reasons, and then hopefully this meeting can start. I can also confirm that some of the delegates are already in the Accra Sports Stadium. Some have already taken their seats, but more of them are yet to come to the Accra Sports Stadium for the commencement of the conference. I have here Mr. Adainibo, Honorable Adainibo, former Member of Parliament for Mampong in the Ashanti region. In fact, Mampong is just a stone throw from our hometown of Isuta. So I was saying that your former constituency, Mampong, is just a stone throw from our hometown of Isuta. So I count myself, remember, and then also speaking to it here. Let me start with you, Mr. Adenimo. So far, how is it going for you?
Well, thank you very much for having me on this program today, being the national annual conference of the party. Personally, I'm doing well. And then we have met here as members of the party to go through what we do annually. But what is special about this year's conference is that in addition to the routine activities that we are going to perform, there will be the election of new national officers who will be running the affairs of the party for the next 4 years up to 2026. So we are here as members of the party to be involved, to participate, and to see that, yes, the growth of the party gradually increases from year to year. So that is why we are here.
There's so much noise here, but let me find out, why is the program delaying so much?
Well, Elton, I agree with you. It is surprising. It is very unusual. I do recall that the last annual conference that was held was in Kumasi about 7 months ago. That was last year, December, and there was no delay. But because this one, in addition to the routine annual conference activities, there will be the election. I believe it is from that perspective why there is a delay. This is my perspective of it. I was hoping that the program could start by 10 a.m. or latest 11 a.m. to have the usual speeches by the various authorities or functionaries in various positions. And then the conference will hand over to the elections committee and then also to the electoral commission to perform the elections for us. So it is a concern. I mean, personally, I am worried that as at now, the program has not formally begun. There is delay. But because one could associate the main elections to it, that would be the reason. Otherwise, the routine activities for annual conferences are not anything that should be surprising. Because you have the national chairman that will speak, the general secretary will give an account, the national treasurer will give an account, and then maybe the national organizer, and then the president of the republic also deliver a speech, and then speeches from other political parties, solidarity messages from them that they have been invited to come here. So it is almost getting to 1:30 o'clock, and formally the program has all commenced. So it is a bit of a concern to all of us.
A while ago, we were told that all the aspirants have been asked to meet the election planning committee for an emergency meeting, after which hopefully the program will get underway. We are hoping that this meeting will clear whatever obstacle that is, responsible for the delay, so that we can have this underway as early as possible. But you have been listening and monitoring the aspirants. Are you happy with the caliber of people who have put themselves out for election?
Well, of course, I'm happy because nominations were open for all card-bearing members of the party who will satisfy the various guidelines or criteria to enable you to contest. So when the nominations were open for the national chairmanship, I think there were about 7 or 8 persons who picked their nominations from and filed their nominations, went through vetting, and then they were qualified that they could not go ahead to do their campaign and seek the support of the delegates if they will give the mandate to them. I know Mr. Ayikwe Otu withdrew from the race.
Yeah.
For the General Secretary, I know Charles Bissiou has also withdrawn, he has also withdrawn from the race. But for the rest of the people, they are still in the race. So long as they found themselves suitable as party members, qualified under the various rules and regulations, for me, yes, they have to carry on with their ambitions. And you have Mr. Stephen Tim, who is making his 5th attempt to win the chairmanship of the party. You have Mr. Stephen Asamoah Boateng, who is making his attempt for the chairmanship for the first time. He ran for the leadership of the party in 2024. Right. But today he's running for the national chairmanship. You have Madam Gifty Ama Asantua, aka or popularly known as Daviama, who is also running for the chairmanship. It would be fantastic that as a party at this stage, we could have a lady as our national chairperson. That could also be surprising and fantastic.
Right.
We had Darocha, we had Peter Lajete, we had Odoi Sykes, we had Haruna Isebu, we had Mark Menu, we had Jacob Otanka Obechebi, we had Paula Foko, and then Freddie Blay. So if a lady becomes our chairperson, that would also be a new thing that NPP we have brought forward.
Some few minutes ago, I spoke to Stephen Asamoah Boateng, who is bidding to become the chairman of the party, and he raised issues about influence, money that is being paid to the delegates to influence the outcome of the elections. You, some time ago, contested the flagship of the party. How worrying should the party be in terms of, you know, the monetary aspect of this whole thing that may end up, you know, electing people who may not be the obvious choice of the delegates?
Well, Elton, all of us Ghanaians, not only New Patriotic Party, all of us must be concerned about monetization of our democracy. If we allow monetization of our democracy to persist, then virtually we have slaughtered democracy. Anybody unsuitable, anybody not properly fit for any position could raise substantial amount of money used to influence delegates, secure the position. Once he secures the position, the person is unable to perform satisfactorily. The person also tramples on the democratic fundamental human rights of the followers. That becomes a danger to our democracy. So I will condemn any act that is intended to monetize our democracy. And for NPP, this has never been our practice.
But hasn't that come to stay now?
No, nothing has come to stay. And that is why we should all add our voices together with all of you in the media fraternity, that we should not allow monetization. Look, Elton, you could be the most suitable person for a position, but for lack of funds, you should be denied as compared you to any other person seeking the same position, that you may be way ahead to perform and to provide the leadership. But because of financing, then we say no. But this wasn't the situation even in 2016, when the party was in opposition. So why should it be a matter now that the party is in government? Is it because we are in government and some people have access to state funds? So it is a matter for all of us. Now NDC is in opposition. We will also monitor how their internal electioneering process will go for the selection of their leadership. So all of us, I am so much concerned, and I have condemned monetization. But we can only urge delegates that they should look at the criteria, assess each and every candidate or aspirant, every candidate, and determine who is is the most suitable? You see, everybody can be suitable, but who is the most?
Are you voting?
Come again?
Do you have a vote?
No, I'm not a delegate.
Okay.
I don't have a vote. I'm a former MP.
But you have preference?
Former flag bearer aspirant, but I don't have a vote. By the Constitution, all sitting MPs are delegates.
Okay.
But if you are a former MP, our Constitution does not make a provision for you. So I am here as a party member, as an observer, to see the proceedings and to participate in the activities. So long as you have raised the issue of monetization, we have to talk strictly about it and condemn it and say that people should be allowed to vote with their conscience. In addition, one way we could also curb this situation is that in the near future, we should look at extending the electoral college to achieve one man, one vote.
So that, for example, every card holding member of the party can vote.
Yes. So if you have close to 500,000 delegates going to elect a national chairman nationwide, or 1 million delegates going to elect a national chairman nationwide, how could you influence such members or numbers?
I'm sure before it was expanded to the current number of over 6,000.
Yes, it was one of the considerations. I do recall at that time I was a member of parliament. That was in 2008 when we lost the 2008 elections, and in 2009 all of us championed the cause for expansion. It was intended to curb the issue of monetization, and we have come to the realization that we have not been able to achieve the objective. So what is the way to cure it? One way to cure it is now, let us go for the full scale of one man, one vote. So every card-bearing member in all constituencies should participate in the voting of who becomes national chairman, who becomes general secretary, who becomes flag bearer. In that case, it is your message. People will assess you based on your leadership qualities and then the message that you have for them.
Honorable Francis Adenimo, will you be up and running in 2024?
Absolutely.
Next year?
Absolutely.
You run for the presidential?
Yes, I have never hidden my ambition. Anywhere that I have been interviewed and this question has come to me, I have said positively yes. Why? In 2014, which was the last contest that the party organized, there were 7 aspirants. And out of the 7, I placed third. I placed third to Chairmanship and to Nana Akufo-Addo. Today, Nana Akufo-Addo is the president. So why should Adenimo not pursue his ambition? I'll be in the race. It is not yet time, but it is you, the media, you have started talking about this person, that person, that person, when we know that we are not even yet there. It is all expression of interest that we shall all be in the race. But let us get there and we'll see. Yes, I have to pursue my ambition. And I'm in the race. At the appropriate time, I will declare my former intention and then seek to talk to party delegates across the country and external members of the party to engage them, to look at me, because I believe that now there is the call or the need to pursue an agenda called Agenda New Phase for the party for 2024 to enable us break the age.
But contesting alongside Nana Akufo-Addo in the last Congress, which you came third, suggests that you thought you could do a better job than him. 6 years into his administration, do you think that he's performed to your satisfaction?
Well, Elton, I'm not in government. I don't hold any position in government. I'm not a government official.
Okay.
If I were to be a government official, then in the performance or discharge of my official duties, you will be covering me. But because I am in the private sector undertaking my personal activities to support the delivery of good governance in this country, I have to avail myself to the media. And today, you have offered me the opportunity. But the others, they are all in government. So you certainly will be hearing their name.
Okay.
But when we get to that time, you have to look at every individual who put his or her name forward.
Thank you very much, Mr. Adenimo. And hopefully,
thank you.
We'll talk again after the declaration of the results, and we'll see how that will shape the MPP's ambition to retain power in 2025.
Thank you very much, Elton.
And this endeavor. Let me go to Hanam. If you can kindly join me here. The noise here is so bad that we need to. Perhaps you need to change seats with Honorable anymore, and then we can get to it. But as somebody who represents the youth, we have the election for National Youth Organizer. I don't know. I mean, you are part of the broader organization of the party. We are almost 5 hours late. I don't know what information you have that probably is responsible for this 5-hour delay for the start of the event.
As we speak, the elephant is pregnant. Then we know our mothers when they are pregnant and they are going to, our mothers, our wives, when they are pregnant and they are going to deliver. There are moments that the delivery may be delayed. So it happens. So because of that arrangement, one would understand that measures are being put in place for the safe delivery of the elephant, because we know that today the elephant will deliver men and women to leaders. So the delay that has been occasioned by the preparation towards the safe delivery of men and women who will carry the party to Victory 2024. Those things have to happen, and it has happened. But I'm thinking that the process has already commenced. EC is putting together their things, and I said pretty soon we'll swing into full action for everybody to see.
Again, let me say that the party, the organizers, the election management committee, they've invited the aspirant to an emergency meeting, and then after the meeting, the expectation is that the event will get underway, and then we'll know how all of this will pan out. But let's talk about the NPP. And it's quite clear that the party has suffered image issues in the last few days. IMF, the current, the prevailing economic conditions in the country. And today you've gathered here under the banner of holding together going forward. How is the party working around the clock to ensure that they get out of this image issues that for some it is just a sign that the party is likely to go out of power in 2024?
I think I would want to say that we as a political party and also government, we are aware of the challenges that the whole world has been plunging into as a result of COVID-19 and then Russia-Ukrainian crisis. We also do believe that as a party, there are a lot of challenges that the country is going through because of the trickling down effect of some of these issues that I spoke about. And the party is meant for this. The elephant is stronger. We know that moments like this can come in our governance architecture. We have the shocks absorbers to combat and also deal with this issue. Government is putting together measures to make sure that the things that has the potential to cause disaffection among the Ghanaians, the government put measures to address them, provide a level of respite for the people. That is why you're seeing that COLA has been agreed to at 15% between government and the labor unions. We know that people are calling for reduction in fuel prices and gas prices. We are knowing that as of today, we are seeing close to 11% reduction in this at the market. So indeed, gradually, things are taking shape. But we'll put measures in place to address these challenges and these difficulties. We know that we are in difficult times as a country and as a political party. Remember that the elephant is the most formidable animal in the forest. And we'll be able to crush whatever challenges, whatever difficulties, whatever frustrations that comes. We will put in measures to address them and sustain the Ghanaian people and provide solutions for the many challenges that confront the Ghanaian and project the country and build a country that Ghanaian will be proud of.
So let's talk about today's event. You are here to elect national officers, from the national chair, general secretary to the youth organizer of the party. Happy with the names or the people who have put themselves out for election. No, I'm asking whether the people who have put themselves out for election are people that meet your expectations in terms of their leadership qualities.
I think the campaign has been fairly fought on various issues. I do believe that as we speak now, the delegates have made up their mind. And I think anybody who understands politics can tell you that the elephant would obviously deliver people for us. As we speak here, we know among ourselves who will become national chairman, general secretary, national. We know it. Because a couple of hours before the elephant delivers, like our mothers, our wives, our sisters, we can scan them. We can scan and know the sex of the babies that they are going to deliver. In the same vein, we have scanned and we know that in terms of the various positions, when we look at the national chairmanship position, it is pretty obvious that Chairman Stephen Tim is going to emerge as a winner based on what we are seeing.
He's your choice.
Based on the scans that we've done. Because the elephant is pregnant and we've scanned to know the babies in the booth. In terms of the general secretary position, you know when you talk to the people and you scan, you are realizing that John Kwadu is going to become the general secretary. Nanabi is most likely to become the national organizer. K. Jenfua is going to win as a national organizer. These are scans and also views of the delegates on the ground. And I do believe that whatever the situation will be, we will come together, forge ahead in unison, and deliver the party and prosecute the campaign and guarantee victory 2024 for them.
All right, I thank you very much. We'll look forward to the start of the event, and hopefully it will not delay any further so that we can get the program underway. Thank you very much, Hanan, for speaking to us. So you heard him. He said, as far as he is concerned, the national chairman is going to, Stephen Tim is likely to emerge as the chairman of the party. General secretary, he went for John Bwedu. Women's organizer, he went for K. Jenfua. I didn't hear your take on the youth organizer slot.
I think that based on where the elephants, I'm not saying my mind. I'm telling you that based on the scan that has been done on the pregnant elephant, that will be delivering very soon. The water has broken. So pretty soon the elephant will deliver. I'm foresee Salam becoming the national youth organizer.
All right, I wish you the very best. We'll talk later when everything is done and settled. So, in the absence of the conference getting underway, it has become a jamming and dancing session here at the Accra Sports Stadium because it is very unclear when whatever is holding the program from taking off will be out of the way so that we can, the NPP can get the program underway. It is so, we don't know. I can't give you any reason why the program has yet to start because we don't know. That is the gospel truth. Those who are seeking to lead the party for the next 4 years, they've been called into a meeting by the election planning committee. The person, Cabo, who announced that meeting said it's an emergency one. So they are all in a meeting right now discussing, I'm sure, issues relating to the elections. And then, so we don't know when that's going to happen. When they are done, they'll be back here. And then we all expect that the program will get under. We will still speak to more members of the NPP as we look forward to the start of the National Delegates Conference. But again, let me say that in the absence of the program getting underway, it has become a jamming and dancing session for the NPP. Now, I'll be joined shortly by the outgoing national organizer of the NPP, Samia Wuku, who perhaps may have inside information to share with us as to why we've been waiting for close to 6 hours and the program has yet to start. Even though we have a long way to go, first we have the opening ceremony that likely will last for between 2 and 3 hours, and then we're going to have the part 2, which is the election itself, when the entire exercise will be handed over to the Electoral Commission for the election of national officers for the NPP for the next 4 years. And Samia Oku joins me here. He is the Director General of the National Lotteries Authority. And the thing is that he has just few hours.
Just few hours.
Few hours to become a former.
So I've been saying goodbye to them.
Few hours to become a former, to join the League of National Former Organizers.
I'll join the league of Lord Comey and that of John Boydu, who is also a former national organizer.
Yeah.
Lord, a former national organizer, and myself.
But how is it going?
It's been very stressful. Very stressful. And I mean, it's been sleepless night, a very long day yesterday. We left here around this dawn. And for me, I think the delegates have started arriving, and we are getting ready to start the program.
You gave us 9. Now it's almost 2 o'clock. No show.
Come again, Elton.
I said you gave us 9 a.m. Now it's almost 2 o'clock.
It's their day. It's their day. That's the sacrifices we also have to make for them. They have also traveled 13 hours, 11 hours, 12 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours. So it's something that happens once every 4 years. So let's also bear with them. We apologize for the delay. We hope that they could have started early, but we should be starting any moment from now.
All right. So you've been a national youth organizer before. Very soon you'll become a former national organizer of the party. So, I mean, you know the ins and outs of elections and going into it. Let's get into the minds of those who are in that group going through this emergency meeting. How will they be feeling ahead of the conduct of elections?
During this moment, it's always a very anxious moment if you're an aspirant, because all has been said, all has been done. So a lot of things will be going through your head. What is the decision? Is it going to be favorable? What will be the news item on Joy FM the following morning? And for me, that is one of the things that when I'm on the ballot, I really take into consideration. What is the news item I want to hear on Joy at 6 a.m. the following morning? Whether I was victorious or whether I lost out.
Yeah.
So that serves as enough motivation for you to move beyond your comfort zone. And I'm excited that today I have very competent young men and women also offering themselves up for position within the NPP. And honestly, it's been a great journey. And the aspirants at this particular point in time, what will be going through their head is how they can protect their vote and how the delegates will appreciate their campaign, their effort, their message. Because at this point in time, if you're an aspirant, your destiny is not in your own hands. It's in the hands of the delegate. Your fate is in the hand of the delegate. And then you are hoping that your agents, your whippers will be able to support you at this point in time. But there's nothing you can do. You can't campaign.
So we have Henry, Nana Boache, and then Titus Glover. These are individuals who, according to the bookmakers, they are at the forefront of being elected the next national organizer of the party. These two, you know them very well. Are you leaving the position in the hands of capable hands? I mean, it doesn't matter who becomes who. Do you have preference?
Oh, I mean, definitely. We are all hoping that good candidates emerge. I endorsed Nanabi's forms for him.
Okay.
I've worked for him. I've worked with him when he is national youth organizer, and I am national organizer. And Titus, I've known him strongly as an activist. We've been very close. We are like brothers. So it's a very close call, and I wish them well.
What about the general secretary?
I wish them well, but I know that many of them is capable.
Any of them is capable.
Even though
but you don't stick your neck out to say that this is my man.
I will vote.
You will vote.
I will cast a ballot. And I will cast a ballot for someone that I know will also fit into the very things that I want to do.
What about the general secretary position of the party?
That's Nana B.
Yes. So a while ago, Nana B just walked by and to a rousing welcome, if you like, and he's going about exchanging pleasantries with the party folks who are assembled here. And I'm sure that he will soon join us, and then we can have a chat. We can have a chat, and then let's see what. But let's talk about the General Secretary of the party. One of your friends, actually, and then your former boss, who is still contesting. How's it going to play out? I was talking about the General Secretary's position of the party.
I think it's a very tough contest. It's a very close call. It's a very close call. Make no mistake at all. And I believe that the party at this point in time, I am convinced that they will make a bold decision looking at the task ahead in 2024. And I believe that they will make a very bold decision that also captures the mood of the kind of battle we are looking at in 2024. Strong, competent leadership, and also your ability to also outwit your opponents as well.
Harry Nanabuachi, also known as Nanabi, how is it going?
It's going very well, by God's grace. It's going very well.
And for you, it's a done deal?
Sorry?
I said for you, it's a done deal?
No. And I'm expecting an emphatic victory. And by the grace of God, I'm expecting an emphatic victory. Yes.
I can see the campaigning across the country is taking a toll on you. Shaving has even become an issue.
The what?
I'm saying that I can see campaigning across the country for the position is taking a toll on you. Even having time to shave.
It's true.
Even having time to shave.
True. Yeah, you don't have to. I mean, we've been canvassing for votes. We've been traveling the length and breadth of this country, and it's true. I mean, I can agree with you. Moving up from national youth organizer to national organizer, and attempting to fill the big shoes of Samia Uku, it's a Herculean task, which I have fully embraced. So clearly, I need to prepare myself for it. And so far, it's been very good. Interacting with the party executives, party delegates. It's been quite revealing, the kind of things, and most of the times I learn a lot of things from them. So we are poised for this position, and I keep saying that I am an investment of the party. So for me, I'm fully prepared. I've prepared myself for this day to carry the mantle. So I'm ready for this time.
Some few minutes ago, I spoke to Stephen Asamoah-Boateng, who is quite worried about what he describes as so much money being paid to influence the delegates. I don't know whether you've encountered the same.
Sabi says so much has been paid to influence the delegates.
He says that nobody has. He says that
so much money has been paid to influence the choice of the delegates. And I'm wondering, how much have you paid?
I'm trying to.
So basically, he's saying that Asabi says that so much money has been paid to influence the delegates. But I don't think you have paid any money.
I don't know that. I don't know about that.
You haven't paid any money?
I don't know about that.
So you've only sold your
message. No, you see, the delegates we have, trust me,
very sophisticated.
They are very independent minded. They know who can do the work, who can lead the party. We should never underestimate their intelligence. You see, they are managing the party for us at the various levels. You know, the party is structured along the lines of our constituency, regional level, and the national level. They are very intelligent, so we can never underestimate them. So I do not know about that, and I would not subscribe to that. That delegates have been paid in a certain way that will influence the outcome. I don't think so.
So you were invited into an emergency meeting. Can you share with us what went on?
To be honest, I just came. I just saw a lot of the aspirants outside. I asked, and then they said that they've been there for quite some time, and that they have not really been engaged that much. So they just came out. So I'm yet to get the full details of the meeting. I wasn't there.
All right, Nabi, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Have the best of the day.
Thank you very much.
Let me wrap up with Samia Uku. Samia, I mean, as an operative of the government and quite influential in terms of party organization and all that, it must be a nice, very situation now. Governance, IMF, economic situations, and all that. How are you handling all of this? And Samia Uku will give us his take on this particular matter, because clearly, government decision to go to the IMF, governance generally, issues of COVID, which has taken our economy to the extent where our balance of payment has become an issue that we have to now go to the IMF to seek for support. It must be a tough time for the government.
I think that we've had some challenges globally, continentally and locally, and Ghana is no exception to the shocks of the post-COVID situation. And for me, what has really gladdened my heart is that people are so determined that in spite of our challenges, they will be able to also rally around this government for us to offer solution and hope to the people. The COVID did tremendous damage to the world economy. COVID did tremendous damage, and nobody has been able to even assess the impact of the COVID. It runs into billions of dollars. Many nations are now under a lot of heat. Then again, you have this Russian-Ukraine war, which has disrupted the global food chain. It has disrupted the global supply of crude and has affected many livelihoods and the high cost of investment and the high cost of prices and everything. So it hasn't been easy. But I am confident that even though the NPP inherited an IMF economy in 2017, we were still able to implement very solid programs for us to have our 1D, 1F, our planting for food and jobs, that of free SHS, nursing training, teacher training allowances, all under COVID. Trust this administration and our ability to take this country out of an IMF
Does
program.
Does it give your opponents the advantage?
I don't
going
think
into 2024?
They left out with an IMF economy. So it's a non-starter at all when NDC is offering solution on how to take us out of the IMF. We have seen them take us to IMF, and we took the NDC IMF economy out. And then we were struck by these devastating issues of global dimension. And then now, for temporary measure, we decided to go for an IMF program. Trust the NPP once again to take us out of these IMF issues.
All right, thank you very much, Samuel Oku, national organizer about to leave office, but Director General of the National Lotteries Authority, giving us an insight into how things are going. Let's speak to more of the party members as we all wait for the start of the event, the National Delegates Conference of the NPP. And I mean, the euphoria is quite something that we're all expecting, because this is a family that has come together to now decide who should be elected to lead them for the next 4 years. But as a party member, how are you taking all of this?
I think it's giving us a certain sense of I mean, there's still some energy, there's still some fire, there's still some confidence within the base and the grassroots of the party. They are making noise and applauding their respective candidates because they believe that their candidate is the antidote for whatever issue or problem they have identified. So I believe that this is an energizing system. This is a way to revamp the base. And you can see it, not just here, away outside various regions, and when you go to the regional stands, you feel the vibe. You know that we are going to take a decision, and we believe that our decision will count.
As a youthful person, what kind of capability in terms of how the person will be able to rejuvenate the front of the youth? What do you expect of the people who put themselves up, and who do you think can best, execute the job?
First and foremost, the person should be somebody who unites. The person should be somebody who is able to bring people together, irrespective of the factions. We are going through an internal process. There will be factions. Somebody will support you, somebody may not support you. So whoever will emerge a winner should be somebody who have that charisma of bringing everybody together, accepting dissenting views. Because we all have our divergent views about issues that is happening now. And the fact that I take position A doesn't mean that I am against the party. So somebody or whoever they would elect should be somebody who has the base, who has the ability to bring everybody together. Number two, we are looking for somebody who can motivate. There should be a certain motivation to the grassroots to get out to go and vote. And under every election, or virtually all the elections we have run in this country, MPP, the worst performance of MPP is 47%. So it is incumbent on whoever becomes the leader to be able to motivate the numbers at the base to step out to go and vote. Then a little topper from the floating voters who they see MPP crossing the margin we are looking for to win. So the person or whoever will win this election should be a motivator in person, should be likable, should be somebody that resonates with everybody. The fashion, largely the youthful base are the larger base in the party. So whoever they are going to let should be a person that is liked by the youth. The numbers of the youth is almost 50-something% within the register. So if you are not somebody who can move the youth, who can appeal to the old and blend the whole dynamics, you cannot lead us, you cannot break the eight with us. And that's what we are looking for. As youth of this party, we believe that, look, we need somebody who listens to us, somebody we can go to, somebody we can talk to, and that's what we are looking for.
Breaking the eight is still possible.
With Nana B, for me, it's possible.
All right, thank you very much, sir.
Grateful.
And enjoy the conference. Charles Bisiu is a presidential staffer, and he wanted to become general secretary, but along the way, just few days to the conference, pulled out. I'm sure your name will still be on the ballot paper.
I haven't seen that though, but I'm not a presidential staffer now. I was in the first 4-year term, and I was the regional secretary for Western Region. I've done that for 8 years. I was also a member of the National Council for 8 years. So I withdrew not because I thought I wasn't going to be able to do it. At certain points in time, some of us must allow the process to go on. I realized that 6 of us went for vetting. We are all qualified. At the end of the day, they're going to elect one general secretary. So I thought, why don't I come out? Whoever wins, they're going to support that person to excel. Also, looking at the turbulence and all the economy and all that going, I communicate for the party. So I thought, with all the pedigree, the regional secretary, national council and all that, I do not have to be a general secretary to be able to work for the party.
But at the start of the Congress, you were quite clear that you were in a better position to lead the party as general secretary than any other person within the family of the NPP. And then, a few days to the election, you said that...
I never said I was better than anybody, no. I said that maybe my policies can modernize the party. I said that we have an efficient political party. I want it to be effective. That's what I said.
I'm sure your supporters are so disappointed.
They are, but then eventually when I made a decision, some of them were gobsmacked, some were disappointed, some were angry. And so for the past 3 days, I've met most of them. I'm still talking to them. They've understood my position.
Now that you are out, have you told them who to vote for?
No, my statement was clear. I said that I will support whoever wins. And secondly, I do not want to impose on people. I want them to vote with their conscience. What they said to me was that they're going to look at somebody who has a like mind like mine, so that we're in the same policy, so that they vote for the person.
Is young people still attractive for all these challenges that is taking Ghanaians through?
Yes, we are a very attractive party. When I got here this morning, before I set off, I thought that there's going to be tension. But you can see that everybody is, up, buoyant. Everybody's happy. Now, I am praying that we leave here with the same unison. And I think that will be the preamble to 2024. 2024 is going to be very difficult because the psyche of the Ghanaian is that every 8 years, a government must go and another one to come. Our manifesto, I think this manifesto, we've achieved over 50%, which is better than any other government. But yet, there's turbulence in the system. So I think that what we need to do is go down, be humble enough, speak to Ghanaians.
In fact, as I speak to you right now, I'm getting text messages from people who were supporting you, who were solidly behind you for the position you wanted to contest in General Secretary. Yeah. And I'm still getting text messages. This one says, we are very disappointed in Charles. He's let us down.
Tell them to forgive me, but anywhere within the party, I will serve. I don't have to be a hero to make it happen. I can do my little bit in a certain corner to help the party. I even shared a joke with somebody that, for example, if somebody like Kate Jemfua wins and he said, Charles, can you be my deputy women's organizer? I'll go for it because the constitution allows that. I'm saying that I'm applying that I would work in any capacity within the party to make sure that we win the next elections.
Has the party kept faith with Ghanaians?
And is the party what?
Has the party kept faith with Ghanaians?
No, Ghanaians love NPP. You know, we are the oldest political party. Yes, at certain points in time, the political party, what brings us together is the ideology, our constitution which guides us and all that. But then you shouldn't forget that everyone comes from an individual home. So when you come out there, you come from your home, we all have different characters. So you might have bad nuts and good nuts. At certain points, the bad nuts might come up front. It doesn't mean that the political party is bad. There are rules and regulations governing us. So what I'm saying is that the party itself, don't look at the individuals, look at the party. And what is going to happen today, I believe that it will stand the test of time, because all of us, all hands must be on deck. Because when we were in opposition for 8 years, Ghanaians missed MPP. And I believe that we shouldn't afford to let that go. So we must work harder and stay at the helm of political affairs.
There are those, especially your political opponents, who have the view that the party should offer Ghanaians an apology. For the way, I'm saying that there are those, especially your political opponents, who have the view that the party should offer Ghanaians an apology for the way you have managed the economy.
Oh, they think they are better? Are you saying they think they are better?
They have the view that we promised so much but have delivered very little.
But okay, so we promised so much, but then if you put it on a scale, we've promised so much. Like when they were in power, we only had Commander Sugar Factory to grapple with. But we have over 100 to talk about. So it's an improvement. They, NDC, have their own ideology. They're a socialist party. But even we, NPP, we do the socialist bit, which is the NHIS, the free SH, and then we do the center rights bit as well. So they do not have a case to criticize us. Our political dispensation is that even when the person is doing better, you need to actually push the person out for you to take over. That's why this problem is rearing its head. But for me, I wouldn't take what the NDC is saying. Yes, maybe it's a guideline because it can actually sway most of the voters to their side. But we need to be truthful. I've said to some of our communicators that we have to be humble enough. Even though, for example, you have a certificate, you'll be a PhD holder. But if you do not have humility, your CV will not even be looked at for you to be employed. Whereas an SSS graduate can be employed without humility. And also, we're talking about competence here.
Right.
Within our political party, we're looking for competence today. Those competent people, I believe, can actually steer the affairs of the party. So I don't want to talk about NDC too much. I think we need to focus on what we're doing, and our communicators must be humble enough, because sometimes I see some people go on TV, and even when the government is wrong, we do not admit it. If you do not admit it or you carry on defending, that means that you're insulting that listener.
Right.
I think you need to admit it like this. We've got it wrong. We're all human beings. And then go back, correct it. Within that, there's consistency. And within consistency, you gain goodwill.
Is breaking the age still possible?
We must work harder. We must delve deeper and then make sure that we break the age. You see, our system is such that even every 8 years, you have to change government. That's what Ghanaians are saying. And our system, you see, Ghana, there's so much jealousy. You wake up the next morning and then you have a story building, and then your neighbor still has one story, and then jealousy sets in. That's the system. So gradually we are educating people that if they're saying that NDC is bad, NPP is bad, we think that we're better than the NDC. That's what we have now. For us, we have to learn and then learn how to communicate to the Ghanaian.
Mr. Charles Bisu, thank you very much.
Thank you.
You wanted to become a general secretary. It didn't work for you.
Not that it didn't work for them. I literally stepped down for the party to move forward.
But then the other people who are contesting the position, who is your best bet?
No, in my statement I said I will support anybody. Anybody who wins. I am going to be voting today. But then if I should sit on national television and say that I support this person, then everything that I've said in this interview comes to naught. It means that I'm not actually instilling unity within my party. So anybody who wins, I will work with that person.
I wish you the very best, and we will again be hoping that the event will get underway soon, so that we will know the way things are.
God bless you.
So Charles Bisu is a presidential staffer. He was one of those who went through vetting. His name was selected as a contender for the position of General Secretary, and then on Wednesday he issued a statement saying that he was no longer interested in the contest and that he had pulled out. And today, as we heard him, he's explained the reason why he's no longer contesting, but says that he will support whoever is elected by the delegates for the elections. And talking about the delegates, now I can say that the place is filling up. Some of the delegates have already arrived, more of them actually. The ministers of state, the deputy ministers, members of parliament are all seated. Now, the MC, Lord Comer, who is director of operations at the presidency, is announcing the arrival of the vice president very soon, to be followed by President Akufo-Addo, and then the event will get underway. Now, this is how the voting and the numbers are looking like. So for 116 constituencies across the country, the NPP is presenting 6,166 delegates. And these delegates, they represent blocks in the party. So it is assumed that they are here to exercise the sentiments of the blocks that they are representing. That is why they are called delegates. And that is why they are here on behalf of the blocks to vote. A while ago, I went through the list from National Executive Committee, founding members, former executives of the party, all the way down to TESCOM. Now, this is how it's looking like in terms of the regional breakdown. So we have regional executives of 273, constituency executives of 4,693. That is the biggest number on the college that will be voting today. Constituency executives 4,692. Regional executives 273. TESCOM, the president and the secretary from all recognized tertiary institutions, 291. External branches, 324. National patrons, 15. National Council of Elders, 15. National executives, 20. National council members, 60. Founding members, 50. Members of parliament, 138. But we do know that member of parliament for Dom Kwabena is nowhere within the jurisdiction. So that will bring the number to 36 actually. Ministers of state, 23. Deputy ministers, 5. Deputy ministers with voting right, they are just 5. We have MMDCE 261. Put all together, and you have 6,166. Now, this is how the voting is going to take place. The party is mindful of time, and for that reason, the Electoral Commission has erected about 20 polling centers. The Ashanti region, with the largest number of delegates, almost 1,000, will vote in 4 polling booths. The rest of the region will have a polling booth assigned to each region, which means that voting will take place simultaneously. The plan is to ensure that the money time such that voting will be concluded within a matter of 2 hours, to be followed by sorting and then counting and then declaration. And the way things are, we are looking at going into Sunday, and so that is what we have. So, MFA, it is so unclear when this event is going to start, even though I can say for sure that all those who've been invited, recognized groups, have all taken their seats. Chief of Staff is in. The Vice President, Dr. Mahamadou Bawumia, will be joining the conference very soon. And then after, the President of the Republic, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, will come in, and then the event will get underway as we now 5 hours late into the start of the National Delegates Conference. But our coverage will continue till we know the winners, until we know that the curtain has been drawn, and then we'll bring our coverage to an end. But for now, we are live on Joy News, on Joy 99.7 FM, Love FM in Kumasi, and affiliates across the country, also around the world at myjoyonline.com. For now, I will hand you over to studio as we prepare ourselves for the official opening ceremony, where we are likely to hear speeches from the Greater Accra Regional Chair of the NPP, who is the host region organizing this conference, and then will be followed by a report by the National Chairman of the NPP, Freddie Blade, another report from the General Secretary of the NPP, John Buedu, and then we'll hear speeches from invited political parties, overseas branches of the NPP. Then we'll hear a speech by former President John Kufuor, according to the program that we have. Former President John Kufuor And then we'll hear from the Vice President, Dr. Mahamadou Bawumia, and the President Akufo-Addo will conclude the list of speakers that have been lined up to do justice to the opening ceremony of the program, after which the delegates will go on an hour break for lunch, and then when they come back, the Electoral Commission will take over the organization of the elections till a winner is declared. So back to you in studio as we get ourselves in readiness for the opening ceremony of the National Delegates Conference of the governing New Patriotic Party.
And this is your election headquarters. We're live on JoyNews channel. We're also on Joy 99.7 FM and over 30 affiliates dotted across Ghana's 16 regions. We're in Kumasi on Love 99.5 FM, myjoyonline.com. All social media platforms, we have you covered as well. And the hashtag is the election headquarters is our coverage of the NPP's National Delegates Conference. And Elton has been taking us through the number of delegates, including the diaspora. I'll be taking you through a breakdown of the regional delegates that we're expecting to vote, including MPs, MMDCEs, a Council of State, Council of Elders of the party on your screen right now. So for the Ashanti region, we have 816 delegates. Ahafo and Bono is 340 delegates. Bono East and Northeast, we have 323 delegates. Central, 408. Eastern, 578. Greater Accra region, 595. For the Northern region is 323 delegates. For the Western region, 306. Western North and OT combined, we are 340. For the Upper West and Savannah region, 340. Upper East, 272. For the Volta region, 323. For MPs and MMDCs combined, 398. Foundation members 50, Council of Elders and Patron 30, National Council members 61, ministers and deputy ministers 28, and TESCON around the country, that's the tertiary wing of the NPP, 291. Doing the math is 6,146. Elton earlier added that of the diaspora. We know that some of them have already voted. We have their list in terms of the voting pattern, how they voted in the diaspora. That will come out to play. But earlier, whilst we were at the sports stadium, we saw live pictures of delegates now. It looks like they've all arrived, and we are all set for the NPP's Delegates Conference to begin. And interestingly, it looks like we have an idea of what the NDC's delegation to this particular program looks like. We saw Sam George and Peter Boama Otokuno. We wonder the message that they are going to deliver to the conference today, and we look forward to hear from them. And it's holding together, working together, and that's the theme for today, and we look forward to it. And listening to the conversation that Elton had with those he interacted with, including Adenimo, Charles Bisu, amongst others, it appears that the mantra is changing now. Breaking the 8 is not just by mouth. It looks like there's more to breaking the 8 this time around, and they are admitting going into today's conference. Dr. Ali Duseidu, we've been hearing from at least Adenimo. Apart from issues about monetization that's come up, we've been doing the breakdown also of the amounts that they're paying. We'll get into it once we have time. But breaking the 8, it looks like the confidence about just breaking the 8 mantra, it's waning a little bit more. Getting into now, we need to work harder to break the 8.
Yeah, I think from the word go, if we're going to move away from just a slogan to an effective policy, it requires a lot of effort. I think this is the first time a political party in the Fourth Republic is seeking to do this. And usually a lot of factors go into making a slogan a policy issue and actually working to realize that particular policy. And there's a lot of things that is beyond the control of the party in their attempt to break the 8. And there are a lot of other factors that is outside the control of the party. And one of the things that the party can determine it will expect to breaking the 8 is what they're going to do today. Electing national executives that are able to steer the party out of the storm and be able to repose confidence in Ghanaians to be able to vote the party into power come 2024. So the things they'll be doing today is one of the important things that they can control. The kind of flag bearer they're going to elect, how they organize themselves after today's election processes, how they package brand the party, the kind of policies they're going to speak to, the kind of manifesto all those things are within the control of the party. But there are a lot of things that the party cannot control, especially the whole concept of the prices of petroleum, crude oil in the market, which was also very high in 2008 when the NPP was finishing their second term. You are looking at the shortage of food, commodities, and all those things. It was also very difficult. The supply chain crisis, we experienced similar thing in 2008 when the NPP was getting out of power, and that same thing is occurring. You're also looking at inflation figures in 2008, very high. It is also the same thing in this particular time. There were general level of hardships, and Ghanaians were complaining in 2008. And the same thing is repeating itself now. Prices of commodities of goods were going up. So when you look at all these things, and then the decision of the government to go to IMF, notwithstanding all previous statements that were made before this particular time, it's now becoming very clear that there are a lot of things that were not anticipated that is happening. And for that matter, to continue to campaign on breaking the aid will require more effort than the party had thought. So I think it is good that key functional members of the party have realized that this is not just a slogan. A lot of effort is required to be able to achieve this. And that in itself is a solution. It means they can put a lot of effort and try to see whether they can still persuade Ghanaians and win back their confidence to be able to give them the mandate to continue. Or Ghanaians will just think that, no, I think you have done enough. We need to get another set of political party or government to be able to do that. So it is good that the NPP as a party is realizing that this is not going to be easy and a lot of effort will have to go into it. That is different from just thinking that it's a done deal.
Well, breaking the eight is not just a giving anymore for the party, and hard work is what we're hearing them move to now in terms of breaking the eight. And we're seeing more and more delegates arriving in droves. Now it appears that all is set. We're about to just begin the NPP's Delegates Conference, which was supposed to start at 9 a.m. and we have 16 minutes past the hour of 2, and it appears that all is set for that to happen. But I'm sure you also noticed amongst the delegates, we saw JFK arrive, and we've been seeing that signal, the same signal that's been given by a number of the delegates. It looks like interesting happenings today at the Accra Sports Stadium. You've noticed a few others also that you would quickly want to chip in there before we get into. We've been hearing from Nana B also on this. He says he hasn't paid any money to any, delegates, but we'll get into monetization properly. And then also the concern you raised earlier, whether after this election the party will remain united or otherwise. But let's talk about the delegates and their reaction to some of the aspirants when they arrived.
So I think it is all part of the branding and then campaigning. Even though per the laws of the party, they are not supposed to campaign today because it is an election day. But there are various ways that political parties, candidates that aspire to lead the political party may campaign. And you have seen it very clearly in terms of the gestures that delegates respond to people who come in. And some of these things can be a genuine show of love and solidarity. And most of them can also be orchestrated. But whichever way you look at it, it sends a very strong signal. So the candidate might have informed his supporters who are able to get into the stadium that when I come in, this is what I'm going to do, and this is how you should act. But sometimes it could also just be a momentous kind of reaction. People just believe that this is the right person. And the person who came in and those things started coming up is a very formidable candidate. JFK is the one who is giving Joe Mbeudu a very good one for his money and experience and competence and incumbency. So it is not strange that people think that we need more youthful faces to lead the party into breaking the eight. And JFK is one of the leading guys in terms of thought and advocacy, and in terms of strategy in this particular regard. John Boydu is not an ordinary candidate. He's an incumbent candidate, and he has been in that particular position for a while. He has established a lot of network. He has a very great campaign strategy and resources to be able to deliver them. So it's one of the most key positions that we have to look at. And it is also it is also of significant interest to the people that want to lead the party next year. Because the general secretary position is like the chief administrator of the party. A lot of decisions go through them, a lot of policies go through them. He's a very strong person in terms of the administration of party affairs. So if you are able to have the general secretary on your side as somebody who seeks to lead the party as a flag bearer, it gives you a lot of opportunity to be able to get a lot of administrative support and a lot of advantage over head-on start over the other contestants. So I think it's something that of significant interest to all the will be aspirants for the flag bearership position, but also people who also seek to control the party moving forward. They all have candidates that they think if he wins, now the party belongs to me. So there are also other people, big wigs of the party, who seek to control the affairs of the party moving forward. And it starts from this particular level, just as the flag bearer position. So there are various shades of interest who are interested in who becomes
And just this morning, we've seen a tweet
bearer
from Gabi Asaro Tridako releasing his own list in terms of national executives, those who is looking forward to win this election. He starts with Stephen Ntim, John Boydu, he has Chinia, he has the treasurer, he's been talking about it, and then also the youth organizer. He has his own list already. That's these comments and, machinations, should I say, does it augur well for a party that's going into such a crucial election, knowing his position in the party?
I think it's a very powerful, even though he doesn't hold any position in government, but people know that he's a very powerful person in the NPP, and his opinion matter a lot in terms of party affairs. So the list that has been thrown out there could just be, I think I've read the tweet which says that based on his consultation or speaking to the delegates, this is the opinion that he has formed. It could just be at that particular level, but it could also be the fact that...
he mentions my favorite.
Yes, it could also be that it is also born out of scientific research that he is privy to. But whichever way it is, it has an implication of torpedoing the voting process that's going to happen. Because if it is these candidates are his favorites, and we know the kind of power he wields in the party, will it affect the way delegates are going to vote? If people want to please him and they didn't know where he belonged, now he's shown it very clearly that if you want to be on my side or if you want to work with me, these are my favorites and they should be your favorites. He hasn't said that, but indirectly it is kind of a coded message that these are my favorites, and if you want to work with me, then you have to elect this kind of people. So it has a potential to change the way people may vote, or it could create a kind of bandwagon effect for those level of people that has been selected. But I'm also strongly convinced that the caliber of delegates that we have right now are people who are very sophisticated in terms of their level of intelligence, but educational qualification. And I strongly suspect that there may be a lot of attempts to sway their opinion towards one particular candidate or the other. But I still strongly believe that at the end of the day, their views will prevail, and it may be very difficult to predict what is going to happen because, yes, they could be given TNT or whatever T you want to call it, or they could be given a lot of money to support one particular candidate. But at the time that they are going to vote, it's just them and their God and their conscience. And that is why it is always very difficult to predict how they're going to vote. And I still will write on the back of the Lacey John statement that we should fear delegates.
That's what delegates.
They can do and undo you.
Well, on that TNT note, though, our research desk, they've been working the math for me. You know, earlier I was trying to work the mathematics with the number of delegates that we had, which is 6,146. I worked it with just 6,000. But we need to take out MPs and MMDCs, of course. And I'm not sure aspirants will have to pay them any TNT. So if we have to pay 150 to the number of delegates left by minus the MPs and MMDC, that will come up to 5,629 delegates. That's what will be left. And so if you're paying 150 to them, work the math, we come up to 2.251 and 600. That's the amount. So if one aspirant, we know Asabi says he's paid 150 for like 3 times to these delegates. So over 2 million.
Democracy is a very expensive enterprise. But what we are doing now is even making it more complicated. And I think a lot of people have sounded a lot of warning, including most of the senior NPP executives or people who have been in ministerial positions, people who have contested elections, have drawn the attention of delegates, but to the Ghanaian population at large, through the interviews that we just listened, that this is not the way to go. I think if we reduce elections to just an auction, and then the people with the highest resources are able to win it on a silver platter, we are auctioning our democracy. And when we auction our democracy, it will become very difficult for the people to be able to have a say in decision-making process. And the people are the most important cornerstone in every democratic development. Their views, their aspirations, and everything is very central. When we allow people to hijack our democracy, elected officials will not do the bidding of the people that have paid them, rather than the general people that they are supposed to serve. And I think
and just coming in, live pictures of the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, just arriving at the conference ground at the Accra Sports Stadium, and with that massive delegation, we can see some MPs with him. I see Madame Bartels, a number of MPs with him. That's the entourage of the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, just entering the conference ground. And, well, it tells us about events to come. And we see Lydia Al-Hassan also with him. Well, it looks like a number of MPs.
Habib, Sheila Bartels.
A number of MPs accompanying the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, to the conference ground. Well, they say coming events cast their shadows. So it looks like that's what we're seeing. And we saw what happened also in the Ashanti region when he was about to deliver his speech, and all MPs were with him. They actually brought the program to a standstill, waited till, you know, that's the Maslock CEO also there with him, a number of people, you know, party stalwarts in various positions accompanying the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. And you can see the reaction of delegates also. There's the Northern Regional delegates. We see other delegates, representatives there also, and their reaction to the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's arrival. So in no time, the President will also be arriving, Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo arriving also. Then it looks like we're about to start this program after the hours of hold-up there. Well, what does it tell us? I'm sure you're seeing some names, some faces accompanying the Vice President. It looks like we're seeing Henry Quartey as well, all accompanying the Vice President. What really is the message that they're putting across?
So it's a kind of a show of solidarity and support from one of the constituents that will be voting in this particular election, but also in the election that will occur next year to elect the flag bearer. And I think when I went through the list, the MPs and MMDCs,
they make up a huge chunk also.
I think 98. next to Ashanti, Greater Accra, Eastern, Central. I think they seem to form a chunk of a bulk of the delegates. So it shows that if the Vice President is able to rally these people behind him, though it's not all the MPs, I think we have about 137 of them. It's not all the MPs, but it's a kind of show of support and solidarity to the Vice President. It could mean several things. It could be that one, he's the second most powerful person in the world, in Ghana, as the Vice President. So maybe these people are just according him the respect as a Vice President. But it could also be that they believe in him and they support him. He hasn't declared his intentions yet, but we all know that he's one of the leading people that are considered to contest when the nominations are open. So it could also be that they are sending a very strong signal to the fact that we support your candidature and we want you to lead the party at any point in time. But it could also be convincing the delegates that this man have all our support. And he may have candidates that he prefer to win the national elections. So if you really support him and you support us as MP, this is the way to vote. It could mean a lot of things. But at the end of the day, we cannot tell whether this showmanship will actually translate into the kind of votes that we're going to have. And if we also had maybe Alan Chairmanship coming in with the same level of prominence that is given to Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, we will also have the same level of people following him, and wow, will have been the enthusiasm.
But this is the vice president.
So at that particular point, you can all other candidates who intend to contest him will not get the same level of prominence and reception that he's going to get. So that kind of incumbency advantage is playing out.
Okay. So. Well, for the NPP current executives, their time is almost up. All will know the fate of these aspirants in the next 24 hours or so, the victors and the vanquished. And it appears our time is also up, you and I, for us to cross over to the Accra Sports Stadium. Dr. Ali Duseidu, we are grateful for your time. And just briefly, maybe just before we cross over, the party remaining united, after this, what would they depend on, you would say?
So first of all, it depends on the transparent fairness of the process. Because if the process is deemed to be transparent, free and fair and credible, then legitimacy will be reposed on the people who are going to be elected. And that will rally everybody behind them. That's the first thing. But second, it also depends on the way the people who are elected are able to relate to the various factions within the party. Yes, we can't hide the fact that the delegates, the people who have put themselves up for position, have people who support them, who have intention of contesting for the flag bearership position. If after the free and fair nature of the process, the way these people will proceed in terms of respecting party rules, regarding campaign, in terms of sanctioning people within the party who disobey these rules, and in terms of how they relate to the various factions and candidates who will come up, is going to keep the party very strong. But also the competence of the people who are elected. If they are competent enough, they have served the party, they are known, and they still exhibit these competencies and build on the credibility and the confidence that has been reposed in them, we're going to have a long way to building unity. But other than if the process seems not to be free and fair, it's going to be a very big issue to heal wounds that has been created.
We're grateful. Dr. Ali Duseidu, many thanks for your company there. So it's about time for us now to cross over to the Accra Sports Stadium, and of course we'll be continuing our live coverage of the NPP's Delegates Conference, and there's more right here on your election headquarters. I'll take you live now to the Accra Sports Stadium. I am Emefa Apau. My colleague Benjamin Akapo will be the next face you see here when we return to the studio.
Opened and started. Delegates, please take your seat. We are warming up and we're getting ready. Please take your seats. So we acknowledge our distinguished personalities who are being ushered in as we prepare to start our conference. Holding it together, working it together to ensure a successful conference and Victory 2024.
Hi, so we are currently at the Accra Sports Stadium, the NPP National Annual Delegates Conference 2022, and in our shot now is the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency Dr. Alhaji Mahamudu Bawumia. All is set for the NPP National Annual Delegates Conference. I also see in our shots Dr. Adokufo. This is the NPP National Annual Delegates Conference, and as part of the agenda, they will elect national officers for the party. Are delegates going to maintain old leaders or go for change? Still in our shots is His Excellency Dr. Alhaji Mahamudu Bawumia, the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana. All is set. Conference will begin soon. The Vice President takes his seat now.
Very soon, His Excellency, the President of the Republic, the Commander-in-Chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, will join conference. We are waiting for the strongest signal about the presidency. When the President will be joining us, he will join us in a few minutes. Please, movements around will have to cease when the President walks in. We must show reverence, respect to our leader and the man who is steering the affairs of this country through this critical path that we are currently pursuing.
Let's welcome the National Women Organizer contesting again. Mami Jemfua, you are welcome. As we see you, we'll acknowledge you. Contestants, at the appropriate time, we're going to give you the proper acknowledgement and introduction. Papa Yechiao, I've also spotted JB in the house. I've seen JFK in the house. As and when we spot you, we will let the delegates know that you are in the house. We are holding it together, working together to ensure victory. It's one family, one party, holding it together. After the contest, we are one, and we will reorganize ourselves to go for victory 2024. I'm informed the NDC is in the house. They will soon give us their fraternity message. So that's all right. They can learn. But at the end of the day, it's holding it together for the new patriotic party and working together to ensure victory for the elephant family. Delegates Amaba, please take a seat. We don't want you to have sunburn because the sun is out. So intentum. Namanya kwai ato abano. Yasramo. 16 regional chairmen. Mowaha. Ensure your delegates are seated, sorted out with their water so they don't get dehydrated. Please, we are here for your welfare. Be pamucho bebre anes for waha. A doctor for Wahabe, be a nadmo for tent no esisino. That's where we have the triage. That's where you will be assisted. If you're feeling dizzy, if you are not too well, be assured the new patriotic party has taken care of it all. They are here for your comfort. And we are also informed by Peter McMahon and his team. No active campaigning on the grounds. Campaign no yediaba awiye. Yeah, they akansie no ebe shisha so let's be moderate, let's have decorum, and know that it is one big family internal contest. Thank you. I am informed the national chairman is in the house. Very soon he will be called to open the conference. Honorable Freddie Blay, outgoing national chairman. Obeba na wabehwe emadwumadie no ye de ahyehyɛ so enche bia opening kase ye befrɛw na yama wo baabi ɛwɔ ɛsoro ha ɛma wo ne ye adi enkita ho. As and when we acknowledge your presence, we will let the delegates know you are in the house. All distinguished personalities, yehu from baabi a yewe ya ye bema wo enkrofo a ɛwɔ ha ɔman a ɛhwɛ yɛn Ghana fo a etie yɛn no. The distinguished delegates from all the 16 regions in the Republic here represented, you are most welcome. Dear delegates, Alan Kwadwo Chairman, Minister for Trade and Industry, Alan Cash, Wababedu, Watinase, Wababeka, Yera, Vice President of the Republic, Yera Bawumia, Alhaji Mahamudu Bawumia Eho, Yemame Akosia Frema, the Chief of Staff, the first and the only female Chief of Staff, and the Majority Leader. Energy Minister Ewaha, as and when we hear you are in the house, we will give you the props. Welcome. Thank you all.
Not long ago, we saw the Vice President walking with a host of government appointees and some members of Parliament. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has taken a seat, and we expect that not far from now, the President of the Republic of Ghana would also show up. On our screens is Sheikh Mustafa Hamid sitting next to Madame Elizabeth
Parliament. I've just sent a message that I need to give them a special recognition. Members of Parliament, the Women Caucus, Yamama Kwaba. MMDCs, the Women Caucus, Yamama Kwaba. Not to sideline our brothers, all the CEOs, both male and female, all the MMDCs, we welcome you to the conference with the theme of holding it together and working together. Delegates, yes, Ramo, please take your seats. Very soon, we will start this program with an opening prayer for the man himself, God, to take his seat, and the program will follow suit. Yes, Ramo, no any nantie bebreno. Immediately, His Excellency, the Commander-in-Chief, is in the house. It will need to cease so the program will start. Yedamasi bebre. DJ Mayenya Minyoma ebe kukuru, holding it together, working it together for victory, assured victory 2024.
And we're back, holding together, working together. It's been quite an interesting morning so far. We've seen a bit unanticipated delay in the arrival of the delegates, but now we clearly see that they have taken their positions, at least from the upper west region. We see that delegates are seated, Savannah region, upper east region, Bunu East Ahafu region. That portion of where they are seated is close to where His Excellencies will be at, as well as the MPs, ministers, and appointees of government. To the left and right also are other demarcations where they are also seated. We saw the Vice President walking up with a Member of Parliament, Honorable Sheila Battels, Ablikuma West MP, I believe. Also with the Honorable MP for Bushegu, Hassan Tampoli as well. We also saw the Deputy Majority Leader and also MP for Honorable Habib. Oh, it's been an interesting one so far. Incident-free. We haven't seen any extraordinary things happening except for the delays in the start of the process. The National Annual Delegates Conference coming live from the from the Accra Sports Stadium. Ashanti region on your screens right now, the largest constituency with 47, the largest region.